This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, everybody. Sit comfortably, relaxed, and welcome the flow of perceptions. From moment to moment. Simply be open to all dimensions of your experience. Completely receptive, and as an experiment, completely passive. Not trying to achieve anything, to do anything, not even to understand anything. Just let everything happen by itself. Let everything come to you. And even that which comes to you, see that it is not important. The content of your experience, which you allow to appear without any opposition, without any resistance, doesn't really bring about in you any interest. As if you are sitting on the beach, look at the waves. There's nothing special about the waves. The sound of the children playing nearby, the birds. The traffic perhaps in the distance. So it's the same here, just that you add to the mix the bodily sensations, the thoughts, when we are no longer either resisting the incoming perceptions, nor sticking to them, trying to keep them or trying to understand them, trying to do something about them, then the changes, the shifts from one perception to another become more obvious. We become aware of the shifts. But if I say that, don't look for the shifts, because you would make an object of them and you would lose your unattached contemplation. So just let everything appear, disappear, unfold by itself. In fact, it's all that is needed. I don't need to describe to you what happens, because if I describe it, then, as I said earlier, it becomes an object of your interest. And that which happens is precisely, and which is of interest, is precisely not an object. So let what happens just happen. Simply you can notice that it is different from the usual type of perception. And it is true in two ways. In one way, because we are conducting an experiment and we are doing something artificial in this process. That's the experiment. But in a sense, the outcome of what the experiment reveals is also somehow a little bit different from what is usually the case. Something that can really put your finger on. And don't try to do that. Don't try to precisely ascertain this second kind of difference. Just know that you are conducting an experiment and try to be as effortless as possible in doing so, because as you may have noticed, this experiment is about really effortlessness. Not doing anything special, not pursuing any goal, not trying to do anything, to understand anything, to change anything. It is like driving your car in the economy mode. Minimum consumption of energy. And everything is happening by itself. Perceptions, the bodily sensations, and the thoughts. And the perceiving of all of that. which is that which doesn't change in this picture, the perceiving of the picture or of the movie. Don't think about what meditation ought to feel like or ought to be like. It's just an experiment. And keep doing it effortlessly. Since it is an experiment in effortlessness. Now that you are used through this state of effortlessness, we are going to conduct another experiment, which will require that which looks like an effort, which is to stop thinking. It doesn't matter whether you are successful or not. You will be successful perhaps for a few seconds, and then thinking will resume, and then you stop thinking again. What I want you to do is to observe the nature of this effort you make when you try to stop thinking. So that, and I already give you a clue, it's some kind of bodily sensation. So we do it. So you may notice when you stop thinking that, of course, there are sense perceptions like sounds, and there are also bodily sensations that are completely normal that keeps appearing. But at the same time, there is this effort to stop thinking that appears, and it's a kind of bodily sensation, feeling. It may not be pleasant. And now here is what you do. You try to find out this effort in which part of the body it takes place, these bodily sensations. That's the next step. And I'm not asking you to do anything with this sense of a perception of the effort to stop thinking, other than see its nature, bodily sensations, where, which part of the body, etc. Don't try to get rid of it. Don't try to keep it. Don't try to change it. But see it for what it is, bodily sensations. And then the next step is, as I said, not to try to change these bodily sensations or these bodily sensations associated with the effort to stop thinking, to see what they are, to see that they are bodily sensations and nothing else. And to see that they are not painful, but they may be experienced as unpleasant. But since they are not painful and simply unpleasant, it's no big deal to accept them fully, meaning not to try to get rid of them, not to allow, if you will, for this residual unpleasantness to burn away. So simply accepting it completely because it's not painful. Not to try to get rid of it, to give it space if it wants to evolve into something else, to give it space and time to evolve. Without expecting anything from it, pleasant or unpleasant. It is simply what it is. In other words, in the beginning of this experiment, we were contemplating the thoughts, the sense perceptions, and the bodily sensations with benevolent indifference, and they were completely neutral. So the idea here is to be even more thorough in this meditation, and this sense of effort, once we have ascertained its nature as bodily sensations, to include these bodily sensations in our, quote, benevolent, indifferent meditation, end of quote, so that they don't really generate in us any aversion or desire any longer. So that they become completely neutral. So it's an experiment that at the same time, it could be called also an exercise in that sense that it is about taming, if you will, this resistance, this sense of effort up until there is no more resistance to it. Its unpleasantness has disappeared. It's not about living all the time like that, any more than this meditation on complete effortlessness and passivity is what I recommend for daily life, because in daily life we need to think, we need to act. But it's a way to explore the root of separation at a deep, irrational level. And to dissolve it in this contemplation, to allow for it to consume all its fuel, all its residual fuel, if you will.